on Facebook, but we're going to be via Zoom.
Ah, I'll have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, it's much easier. Actually, the setup's much easier. So you'll see meeting is now live streaming live on Facebook. Woohoo!
Ah, cool.
Hey, Ewa, I'm going to start us with the karakia. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Awesome. So, me no e tātou. Ko te kupu, ko te atua, ko rangi nui ki runga, ko papatua nuku ki raro, ka mate ai te tangata, ka pō, ka ao, ka awatea, tihei mauri ora.
Thank you.
Talofa, Shelley.
Talofa, Rachel. Nice to see you.
It is always a pleasure to see you. And thank you for joining our live streaming of Realtalk, where we get to have some kōrero, a little bit of an insight into the awesome wahine that sits with me in this space. So kia ora everyone who's tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have space for wahine to come together. And Realtalk is really about Indigenous wahine and all of the amazingness that we do every day without fail. And so just acknowledging anyone who's out there who is also an Indigenous woman doing the mahi. Thank you for joining us here today. But today is, I'm joined here by my beautiful friend and inspiring Indigenous Samoan entrepreneur, Shelley Burich. So talofa, Shelley, how is it in Samoa?
It's beautiful at the moment. Yeah, it's always lovely here in the islands.
Yeah, you are blessed to live in an island, I must say.
Yeah, I think we've been very blessed to not only live on an island, but to be COVID free at this point in time. I know there's, a lot of other countries are going through so many different challenges. So every day we count our blessings about how lucky we are. Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, so Shelley, maybe just give us a little, because what I really wanted to support our audience to understand about you is your journey, in particular the last year. And I think we've been through, especially here in Aotearoa, we've been through 2 big lockdowns. You have been locked down on your island for how long now?
18 months, I think it is. 18 months, yeah, almost 2 years. So yeah, it has been a challenge, probably more so for other people here on my island. I think when I compare my situation to many others here in Samoa, I'm one of the lucky ones. But I think if I look back a year ago, as to where I was at that point in time in my life, comparing it to where I am right now, there's a huge difference, And I'm pretty sure you will remember that time very well, Rachel, when I came to you about a year ago, where we just so happened to make a reconnection. And I was at a point in my life where things were topsy-turvy. Things had just turned upside down for me. I was in that realm of the unknown. I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, and whether I could possibly survive, not survive in the sense of being alive, but survive the topsy-turvy situation that I had found myself in. And I think it was just through the networking, the connections with other Indigenous women, being able to tell my story, to tell my troubles, to share my troubles, that just brought a whole different aspect to my life and allowed me to realize that, hey, I'm not the only one going through troubles at this particular time, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just some context, I just want to acknowledge you, Shelley, for sharing, so openly about how you started this journey, especially in the last year. And it's not always easy to say those things out loud, and especially not on a Facebook Live. So what gives you the courage to do that, Shelley?
I think I get my courage. First of all, I want to say that I get my courage from other women by sharing together. That's how I got my courage. It took me a long time to share. I'm a type of person that will keep everything within and try to sort out my troubles, my worries, my problems myself. And I guess being brought up in that type of environment, that it's hard to share, that you feel like you might be a failure if you share that you're going through troubles. And I think being connected with other women that were going through very similar situations, maybe not exactly the same, but very similar. And that gave me the courage to share. And most importantly, I was able to share in a safe space. That was very important, knowing that whatever I was sharing wasn't being judged. You were not being judged for what you might have been perceived as failing at. You were just there you just felt like you were being held. People were holding your hands. I'm getting goosebumps.
Me too.
Oh, you just felt like they were holding your hands, even though we were virtual. They were there holding your hands and giving you a big cuddle and a hug. And that's what gave me the courage to share. And now I've learned that by sharing my story, it's helped me. It's helped me heal. It's helped me be able to hopefully help others by sharing. I think that's what I've realized, is that it's okay to share because you actually heal, you become better skilled, better equipped by sharing. And that by me sharing, I'm hoping that I'm going to encourage more women to come and do the same thing, because it really is a healing moment.
Kia ora, Shelley. Oh, alofa atu to you for that vulnerability that you continue to show, which is ultimately courage that you're showing up with. And so you have inspired many, Shelley. I can name, 10 other women that were with you, maybe on your Hiwa program. And then you have continued to grow this business out of Samoa in lockdown. And so Shelley is a graduate and a lifelong member of RISE2025. We are always connecting in different ways, again, to support each other, to share what is in the way sometimes, but also we share our successes. We share what we want to celebrate. We share our milestones when something happens. And that's the beauty of this network of Indigenous women who come together for the betterment of everyone. So, Shelley, you are inspiring, and you are in a business. So talk about your business, Vaoala Vanilla.
Vaoala Vanilla. Vaoala Vanilla is my baby. Yeah. Sorry, grandchildren. I love you to bits. But Vaoala Vanilla really is my baby. And I treat those vanilla vines, the beans, just like they were my babies. I nurture them. It's my passion. And even within that 1 year, I actually took agribusiness, something that was just very small, and that I was just making products, whether they were beans or the value-add products, selling them domestically, getting them out there to the local chefs, actually I wasn't doing any, I was doing some export before COVID, but it was more, it was only a couple of export people, and it was just the links that I had made before COVID hit. So when COVID came and those borders closed, I had no more tourists coming in, and my export market actually stopped as well because they were in lockdown and they couldn't get the products into them. So I had to find a way of, okay, I have just come away from a full-time job, ready to go full-time into my vanilla business, and all of a sudden COVID has hit me. So I had to figure out really fast what was I going to do. And that was part of my topsy-turvy time a year ago. That was just a small part of it. But finding RISE2025, finding Hiwa and the e-commerce business program, that helped me, give me a little bit more direction on how I can do something during COVID. And that was through the Shopify platform. So that is how I was introduced to Shopify, was through Hiwa. I just flew with it.
Did you ever think that you would have an online business?
No. I think if I was going to go online, it would have been maybe Facebook, just doing Facebook shop or anything like that. But I always felt that if e-commerce, I felt that e-commerce was too hard in terms of, first of all, I didn't know how to build a website back then. I didn't know how to integrate all of those, the payment gateways, or, how to link in apps and things like that. And I knew if I was going to go down that road and I couldn't do it myself, I would have to employ someone. Thinking back, I had no money to employ anybody, let alone pay myself. So e-commerce at that point was definitely not something that I would have considered. I had looked at Shopify before, and you always see the 14-day free trial. You see that. And I think I had maybe a year or two ago, I had dabbled at it. But after 14 days, it was just like, oh God, I have no idea what this is all about. And no. So I just gave up.
Yeah.
But with the Hiwa program, where we were offered a longer period of time than the 14 days, that was a big positive bonus for me to get into. And that's what happened.
Yes, great. So you came on the program, you got the skills, and you upskilled yourself, I must say. Upskilled yourself. And then you were online to be able to market your product. And so how did it work? Actually, did it work, the online?
Yeah, I think I started building the Shopify store through Hiwa, I think it was mid-June, maybe early July. By the end of August, I had launched. I launched my store. And I had no idea. I think just getting all the skills from Hiwa through Shopify, I was just very confident about what I was doing, how I was going to make my store, what it was going to look like, and what was the brand that I was going to push out there. When it came to the marketing side, again, I had no money. So there was no way I could pay for any advertising. So Shopify gives you a lot of tools and resources to learn how to do organic marketing without the paid advertising. So that's what I did. I went from not being very social media savvy to not only having a Facebook page, but putting Vaoala Vanilla onto Instagram and linking the two to my website, but also creating a LinkedIn page for myself, which I'm integrating all three. And now doing live stream. So I think that, like, putting myself out there onto social media, really pushing my business, who I am, why I'm doing it, this is my brand, this is my product, help me, and just really pushing those messages. It just attracted people to me.
Wow. And you are amazing on, and let's be honest, we all know linking those social media accounts to your website, even just doing that is a mammoth task, I know, but you're doing it. And your videos, Shelley, they are, they're you. And so what's been the response? What are your customers saying to you when they connect with you?
My customers love the authenticity. That's what they love. They love the real me. They love, I think they can feel my passion through what I'm doing and what I'm telling them. I'm not a millionaire yet. Through my, and I don't expect to be, but what I'm enjoying is just the reach that I'm getting, and just having people from Canada, from Japan, from Romania, from the Philippines even, and they are the biggest, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. They have a massive vanilla industry in those countries, and yet they're coming to me. I've got people coming to me asking me how to grow vanilla.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really exciting. The other social media platform that I've put myself out onto is YouTube. I now have a Shelley Burich-Vaoala Vanilla YouTube channel, and I've got 98 subscribers.
I love it.
And all they do is they want to come and watch the videos on how I do things. How do you grow a vanilla vine from a cutting? How do you do looping? How do you feed the vanilla? All these little tips are helping people. And you know me, Rachel, I love to share. A lot of people say to me, oh, that's your IP knowledge. You shouldn't be giving away too much of your knowledge. But I feel that if you don't give away what you know, how are you going to get other people to grow the same way that you do? Yes. So I'm one for all for one for sharing.
and let's be honest, you are reaching a global audience now that you potentially wouldn't have had access to, maybe a little bit later, but you're reaching this audience. Can you share actually with our audience, actually how much is 1 kg of vanilla in the market? How much does that actually cost?
For the global market, for 1 kilogram of, this would be premium beans, so they would be 15 centimeters and longer in length. The price ranges between $375 to up to about $425 US a kilo.
A kilo.
A kilo, yeah. But to get 1 kilo of processed premium beans, you're looking at about 200 beans. So there's a lot of beans in 1 kilo. And when you think about, that is just a lot of work. And that's why it's so expensive. I mean, vanilla is the second highest spice in the world after saffron.
Yeah. So that's good information for people to understand the work that it takes to get 1 kilogram of vanilla, and 200 beans is what I heard.
Yes.
So how much are you actually able to produce in your capacity as an entrepreneur, self-managed, self-employed? How much actually can you produce yourself, Shelley?
Yeah. My yields have been different each year because it really depends on your climate conditions, whether you've had a cyclone that year, because that can affect your yield. And I always knew that my yield this year was going to be small because I changed 1/3 of my farm, where I took away a lot of the well-established vines that were producing beans. I took them all away and created an artificial infrastructure. So now they have brand new vines on them, and they will not be ready for beans for at least 3 to 4 years. So I've lost all of that yield. So really, back in 2019, I had a yield of about over 3,000 beans. I yielded about 3,000 beans, but not all of those 3,000 beans are A grade. They're not, so that's the difference, not all beans are A grade, because beans will grow at different lengths, and some might be healthy, some may not. So out of that 3,000, I think I would say about 30%, between 30 to 35% would have been A grade out of that 3,000.
Right. Yeah.
This year, my yield is very, very small. I've only managed to harvest just under 400 beans. Big difference. Big difference. Big difference. And at this point in time, I've only got maybe 400 grams of premium beans, not even a kilo. But I've got a buyer in the States who said, I don't care whether you got 50 grams or 50 kilos, we're buying them.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just a matter, I think it's been really important for me to have that value add side of things. So not just to rely on premium beans and use all of the other beans to make my value add products. And I really concentrated in the last year. It's not just about me putting myself out there on e-commerce and just thinking about international. I built up my domestic market.
Yeah.
And I needed that because my domestic market is what will keep me going when there's no more international market. So it's really important to keep your domestic market going and keep your domestic customers buying your products locally.
Yeah. And so, Shelley, you now have you've got your value add products, you've got your international market. And how are you going to scale so that you can provide that US provider a 50 grams or 550 kgs or 500 kgs of product? What's next for Vaoala Vanilla?
Yeah. I always thought that Vaoala Vanilla we would go out and grow more vanilla for ourselves. So I was in the middle, and I still am, trying to access more land to lease, particularly primarily from government. I'd like to get some land to lease from government so that I could grow more vanilla. But then I soon realized, okay, I'm not that young. and for me to, if I was to grow brand new vanilla, I would not see a return for my investment for at least 5 to 6 years. So that's a long time before. Yeah. So I've decided, and I've always known that this would be the way to go, is to get other people to grow vanilla. So that's what I've started doing. I'm going out into the village communities and finding people who would be interested in growing vanilla and remain committed to it, because it is a long-term commitment if you want to grow vanilla. And I've been training them. So I'm mentoring them, I'm helping them right throughout. And my very first village family came about from one of my live videos. where I had one of their family members watching my live videos in the States. And he contacted his family back here in Samoa and said, look, this is a crop that I'd really like you to try and grow. Besides your taro, your bananas and everything else, start growing this. So that's how it's all come about. And that's where I want to be right now, is that not necessarily grow Vaoala vanilla, but grow the industry.
Yeah.
So that I'm sharing the experience, sharing the knowledge with other growers and farmers here in Samoa that can also learn to grow vanilla and potentially supply Vaoala vanilla.
Wow, look at that. From 1 year ago, from one, from literally one idea to start an e-commerce store, to get some money coming in during COVID, to now realizing how powerful those videos and those connections,
the connections,
to now providing income and product and growing a whole new industry. And so knowing all that now, Shelley, what is that giving you for the future? What is the future for you?
Oh, I see the future for me now is that I see myself more, I want to be a mentor. I want to teach, whether that's in vanilla growing, whether that's, I'd love it to be nationally first, but potentially regionally, where I could go out to other islands and really focus on women farmers, women growers, trying to empower them to follow their dreams. So I think that's where I'm going to be heading now, is that taking my experience and realizing how much growth I've gone through in the past year, I want to take that and share it with other women, so that those same women, whether they're farmers, growers, or entrepreneurs, I want to give them the confidence and the support, help them along the way to reach their own dreams, whether that's going to be in vanilla growing or something else. I see myself doing that. And I think Vaoala vanilla will always be there for me. And whether it becomes the multi-million-dollar company, I don't know. But I think what I will always be grateful for with Vaoala vanilla is that it's given me a platform to start something different. So yeah, I think we all have the ideal future that we want. Whether we get there or not is another story. But I've certainly learned, Rachel, within a year, that not to be hard on myself if I don't reach those goals, that it's okay to change direction, and it's okay just to go with what's making you happy at that time, and that whatever the future holds, I'll just be grateful for the time that I've had right now.
Wow. So Shelley, what do you need from others? So someone might be listening. The government might have some resources. What do you need to make that happen?
I think for nationally, what I do need from not only from my own government, but from other organizations here is and I know they're starting to look at vanilla as a viable industry for our country. But I want to get beyond the talks now. I want action. There's a lot of consultations, there's a lot of talking. I feel that I've proven to people, I've got 14 years of experience here of growing vanilla. And alongside that 14 years of vanilla growing, I've also brought the e-commerce aspect into it. So I want to be able to take those two together and introduce it to other growers. So I think what I really need is a lot more support, tangible support.
Yes.
More tangible support from my own government. But for everyone else that's out there, please, if you could just, like every entrepreneur, just share our website, share our stories, and just get people, directing the traffic to the website, whether they buy or not, as long as they're looking, and just sharing the journey.
And while you're there, buy some products. That's what I'll add.
That would be nice. But my website as well. I try to put a lot of a few community products on there, and that's so that I can help other communities within our villages that are unable to have their own Shopify stores or any other e-commerce stores, and particularly because of our closed payment gateways here in Samoa, that you're not necessarily able to have a fully integrated e-commerce store without having an international bank account. So this is my way of helping some of our community members to showcase their products on my website. I sell them on their behalf, and then I just pass over, after the shipping costs and that, everything else goes to them. And they've been very grateful for what I've been able to do. It might be small, but it's something. It's a sale that they would not have had otherwise.
Yeah. And so continuing to bring in the community, whether it's product, whether it's training, domestic. Yeah. I think that's a wonderful thing. That's the give back, eh? That's the give back that we are in terms of COVID, being locked in, and taking care of our own first and foremost.
Yeah, I think, that's right, Rachel. It's certainly giving back, and that's where I'd like to be, is my way of giving back is sharing what I know, and sharing what I do. So I always feel that I want to share to others so that they don't go through the same mistakes that I did.
And I'll add to that, there's been some great learnings in those mistakes for you.
There have been. Thank you. You know me. My Hiwa sisters are right up there with me, and I couldn't have done it without the support of RISE2025 and Hiwa.
Thank you, Shelley. Look, we are lifelong friends, lifelong mentors of each other. And, I just really want to acknowledge and celebrate you today, as we will many of the other Hiwa entrepreneurs that are going to come onto the Real Talk, because, as we lift one Indigenous wahine up, that actually is about role modeling and empowering many of us to go on that journey and do that as a collective. And that's what I love.
Yeah. I think, if I may add, Rachel, I think one thing that I'm really enjoying is my time with the NGO, Samoa Women's Association of Growers, and I feel that is the perfect platform for me to bring in my agriculture, my growing aspect, but also my e-commerce aspect and my business aspect, learning how to run a business by yourself with no money.
That is gold. That is gold.
But I've been keeping it afloat, and it's been very, very nice to see that my bank account is better. It's looking better now than what it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, look at that. Wahine Ma, if you're listening to that, that's important. So yes, it took time, but actually the time invested is now paying back in dollars in the account.
Yeah, yeah. And I've finally been able to pay myself. Yay!
Yes. You deserve every tala, every US dollar, every New Zealand dollar that you get, Shelley. So, hey, I'd like to ask you to wrap up with just maybe one or two things that you want to leave the audience with, that you really want from yourself to the audience. You know, what would you like to leave them with thinking, and maybe something to do as we finish up here?
Thank you. Gosh, what to think of. I think probably first and foremost is I want to leave everyone with, I think you might have heard it many times before, but I can't stress enough the importance of believe in yourself, believe in your dream. Don't ever give up on your dream. I didn't. And I had people around me that did not allow me to not believe in my dream. And just don't be shy to reach out for advice, for support, for a shoulder to cry on. I think we all need that. And I think as women, we take on so much on our own shoulders. Whether it's through our family, whether it's through work, whether it's through friends, you know, we tend to multitask so much, and don't forget about yourself. So I think that's the biggest learning that I got from this 1 year is my confidence level about my skills and my business has just gone up here, you know. So that would be my gift to you guys, or my words of encouragement. Don't give up on yourself, and have that confidence, and reach out for advice and support when you want to.
Such wise words. And yes, we do hear that. Believe in yourself, ask for help, build and believe in your skills, but only you, Shelley, can say it in the way that you say it. And that's the joy, and that's the gift, and that's the taonga. I would say to anyone who is listening here, if you are an investor and you're inspired by Shelley's story, get in touch with her and invest in her business. That's what I would add to your kōrero today, Shelley, because I can.
Thank you.
And lastly, just to say all the work that you've been doing with your amazing Prime Minister. We'll have another real talk about that. From here, from Aotearoa, New Zealand, as Wahine Māori, Pacifica, we just really want to acknowledge her for the journey that she's been through, her mana, her just stealth way that she has navigated, everything that she's navigated into her role. And I'm guessing that her connection to you is also part of this confidence that has come about as part of your journey. So, you know, I just want to say thank you to her, thank you to you, thank you to all the Samoan women who have taken care of us actually in Samoa. And so we look forward to coming back to Samoa, to whanaungatanga, to hug each other, to cry together, and to celebrate everything that we have been through. So, Shelley, any last words before I?
No, thank you. I just want to, you know, I'm very appreciative of the opportunities that I get to share. I'm pretty sure, you know, I've done a few of them now, and sometimes you think, oh gosh, I'm just saying the same thing over and over, but each one is slightly different, you know, and so I just thank you for the opportunity. It helps me as well to build my online presence confidence. So thank you, and Yeah, I look forward to doing a lot more with RISE 2025. And like you, I look forward to when you're able to physically come to Samoa, and when I can finally have my Hiwa sisters together.
We are coming, don't worry.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That's in the planning. So as we started with karakia, I'm going to close with karakia, Shelley.
Thank you.
And I wish you a beautiful weekend. Thank you for spending time with Real Talk. It'll be live on the RISE 2025 page. I'll also add your website. In closing, alofa atu e hoa. Awhatai lava me inoi tātou. Kia tātou katoa, te ata whai o tō tātou ariki ai hukaraiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake. Āmene.
Āmene.
Ka kite.
Te whāsau kua.